He's Mark Cuban, the Mavericks owner, joining us on the program. How's morale, Mark?
Hey, hanging in there. How are you holding up, Dan?
I'm doing okay. So what are you doing? Are you able to get out of the house?
No, I can get out of the house, like as in the backyard. And fortunately, I got a hoop up, so my 10-year-old and I get out there and play horse and shoot around and try to be normal. So it hasn't been too bad.
Now, this isn't the house you had like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you stayed in that house?
Same house, yeah. Creature of habit, and it one room, the old wiffle ball courtroom, still has no furniture, so we play wiffle ball and family dodgeball in there, and it's broken a few things, but yeah, so it's still. My wife has definitely decorated it, but it's not what normal people would do.
It's like Warren Buffett. Warren has been in that house for decades.
Yeah, I've lived in two houses over I don't even want to say how many years, so yeah, I'm comfortable.
What's the coolest thing in your house?
The trophy.
Oh.
I'm looking at it right now as we speak. That baby is beautiful.
How often do you have somebody who cleans up in your house? Like, who dusts off the NBA championship trophy?
Me.
Just you. That's
yeah,
the one thing you clean?
Like once every 2 years, I send it out to get cleaned, just to give it that extra shine, that spit polish.
How often are you communicating with the commissioner?
Not very often at all. I mean, his hands are full, so there's not a whole lot I can contribute. He's doing everything he can, but we get pretty much daily updates from the league office.
But do you think is there a drop-dead date?
No, everything's on the table. There are no rules. The bad news is there are no rules. The good news is there are no rules, and so everything's on the table. You don't know how. I'm positive. I think things are going to turn out. Better than we think, sooner than we think, obviously with still a lot of disruption. But I think we'll have to look and see, what happens with television. Television viewing is way up. People are watching Shark Tank. We're having our highest ratings in years. How long will that be sustainable? Is it now a great time to put on a game with no fans the minute we're able to? We'll see. It's things are different, and so we'll adjust accordingly.
What kind of options are on the table, though, when it comes to the regular season and the postseason?
Well, I don't want to speak for the league, but just, talking out loud here, just hypothesizing, I think we can play 5 games to get guys back in the groove and then go into the playoffs and maybe make the first round 5 games instead of 7 and then just play it out from there, depending on when we start, obviously. Talking to the people I know, and everybody thinks they know the guy or the woman, right? I think that we start to really come out of this in 6 weeks, and that's where instead of not leaving your house, you can leave your house, and instead of gatherings limited to 10 people, you can go to 25 people, and that gives us a chance to play a game probably without fans, without an audience. But that said, if there's one thing that's going to bring the country back to some level of normalcy and get people's blood going again in a positive way and get people excited, it's going to be sports. And the NBA is incredibly well positioned to be the sport that drives, the recovery. And so I think the commissioner is looking for us to lead and to set an example and to be that league that gets people, excited again. It gets people rallying around their teams. Because the minute we put on that first game, even if it's an exhibition game, everybody and their brother, even if it'll be kind of like the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that many people are watched, but half the people don't even watch for the game; they watch for the ads in the halftime. And I think our first game, when we come back, it'll be the same way, just because people want to rally around the flag. They want to feel some sense of normalcy.
What was your reaction when you found out in real time that Rudy Gobert had tested positive?
I didn't find out till later. It was, it was shocking. But not surprising. You don't want to see anybody hit with this, but, basketball players, celebrities, whoever, Tom Hanks, we're not immune from any of this. Viruses don't care. And so I was shocked, but I wasn't surprised.
Well, we're watching you react in real time when the commissioner said we're going to, postpone, stop play. Did you see yourself eventually in how you reacted? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a meme for forevermore. Not enough chocolate in your hot chocolate. There's Cuban going crazy, right? Your cat just meowed when there's Cuban.
We're talking to Mark Cuban, the Mavs owner. How are you dealing with this as a businessman?
I mean, every business is different. Obviously, it's really a struggle for most people, and I'm most concerned about employees that get paid by the hour. I mean, before all this hit, just living paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how many hours or, how things are going to turn out. That was brutal then. It's unimaginable what everybody's going through now. And so we're continuing to pay our folks as if nothing happened. We're trying to do that. I'm trying to get as many of my other companies that I'm involved in but may not own to do the same where possible. And then there's also some companies that are doing well because of this. If you sell toilet paper, if you sell consumables, our company Dude Wipe is killing it. If you want something more, more clean than toilet paper, buy Dude Wipes, and people are, and people who sell food as people fill up their pantries. And so we're trying to get them to, rather than just putting the money in their pocket, hire as many people as possible, and just try to do the right thing. And and hopefully everybody out there that's involved in a small business will immediately go to SBA.gov and start applying for emergency loans so that you can try to retain all your employees. It's not going to be easy. These are crazy times. And we'll see what happens with what legislation is passed today, hopefully. But, everybody's just got to try to do what they can do.
Have all of your players been tested?
I can't comment on that, but nobody has anything, and I haven't been tested. I know none of our managers, none of our staff that I'm aware of has been tested. We haven't had anybody showing any symptoms, so there's no reason for them to be.
Man, it's just such a crazy time.
Isn't it?
And I know that we sound selfish when we say, boy, we want to have games come back, but I just think there's only so long you can watch the news or listen to the news. And
right.
I know the NFL has been criticized by some people that, should they be continuing business as usual here?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes. Look, we turn on the news, and there's people doing their job from home, and that gives us a sense of normalcy. The minute we turn on ESPN or CNBC or whoever, and there's nobody there, that's when we freak out. And so for the NFL and the NBA to do, the NFL with their draft. Now, how you sign players and, you have to deal with social distancing. You have to adhere to all that. You have to be overreactive because you don't want to look back and say, oh, no, what did I do? What did I do? How did I cause this, and this? So you have to overreact. But that said, within those constraints, anything you can do that has any level of normalcy, please do. Because we want diversions. That's why coming back and playing an exhibition game or getting our games played, even if there's no fans there, that's a sense of normalcy. That gives us something, like to your point, to divert our attention, to make us feel a little better. So, you know what, if people want to argue about who's going to be drafted by the NFL or the NBA, that's a great thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm there with you, and I know that people, it's insensitive that Amari Cooper is signing a 5-year, $100 million deal, and I'm going, I'm not bothered by it.
No.
I needed the break.
Let me just say an absolute fact of life. When you're dealing with imperfect information, you make imperfect decisions, and every decision you make is going to be wrong at some level to somebody, every single one. And knowing that, you just have to make the best decisions that you can. And that's why this is not the time. Look, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I'm certainly not going to criticize him. I think what he's doing his best. And, the government's doing their best. Our politicians are doing their best. And now is not the time to criticize them. There'll be plenty of time for that when we're on the other side of this. And hell yeah, I'll be throwing fire at the people I don't agree with. But now is not the time. Now is the time for us to recognize that it's we the people and we're in this together. It's just wasted energy just criticizing people right now.
Good to talk to you, Mark. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Anytime, Dan. Appreciate it, buddy. Stay safe.
That's Mark Cuban, Mavs owner, of course, one of the stars of Shark Tank.